Have you ever spent hours worrying about a problem, only to discover that the explanation was completely different from what you had imagined? Sometimes we think we understand what is happening. We notice one small detail and build an entire story around it. Then, one new piece of information changes everything. Hello and welcome back to a weekend episode of Daily English, where we try to grow in English and in life. Today's expression is, as it turns out. One more time, as it turns out. We use as it turns out when we reveal the truth or final result of a situation, especially when it is different from what we originally believed or expected. It's a very natural expression for telling stories with an unexpected twist. Let's look at some examples. Imagine you buy a small plant for your apartment. You water it carefully, place it near the window, and even talk to it occasionally. But after 2 weeks, the leaves begin turning yellow. You assume you are terrible at taking care of plants. Then you lift the pot and discover that the drainage hole is still covered by a plastic sticker. You could say, I thought I was giving the plant too much water. As it turns out, the pot couldn't drain at all. The problem wasn't your lack of gardening talent. It was one tiny sticker. Or imagine you meet someone at a friend's birthday dinner. They barely speak, give short answers, and seem serious the entire evening. You assume they're unfriendly or in a bad mood. A few weeks later, you meet them again in a smaller group. This time, they are relaxed, funny, and easy to talk to. You could say, I thought she was a little grumpy. As it turns out, she was just shy around new people. We often mistake discomfort for dislike, especially when someone needs more time to open up. Or imagine you've been avoiding a cafe near your home because there's always a long line outside. You assume the service must be extremely slow. One day, you finally go in. You discover that most people are not waiting for coffee at all. They're lining up for a popular bakery next door. You could say, I thought the cafe was always crowded. As it turns out, everyone was waiting for the bakery beside it. For months, you had been avoiding a problem that did not actually exist. This idiom captures something very human. We rarely wait for all the facts before forming an opinion. We notice one detail and create the rest of the story ourselves. But our first explanation is not always the truth. Sometimes we simply need to wait until we know a little more. Now it's your turn. Think back to a time when you misunderstood an ordinary situation. What did you originally believe, and what did you later discover? Try describing it using, as it turns out, and the rest of the sentence. Thank you for being here today. And let's remember, before you judge the person, abandon the plant, or avoid the cafe forever, pause for a moment. Because as it turns out, the real story may be kinder, simpler, or much more surprising than the one you created in your mind. You might also want to check one of my episodes on epistemic humility. The idea that we should remain open to the possibility that we may be wrong. Enjoy your weekend, take care, and see you tomorrow.